So we're very fortunate to be interviewing Veronique Cremades today. She's the CEO of Nestlé in New Zealand. Veronique, tell us about your cultural journey. You are not what you seem in terms of your work experience. Where have you lived around the world?
So I've lived in many countries around the world, but I would say in my career at Nestlé, half of it was in Western country and half of it was in Asian country.
Oh, really? Interesting. So which countries were they?
So in Asian countries, we've been based in Indochina region, which is all Southeast Asia. But I also had a regional role catering for Oceania, Africa, and also Oceania region, actually.
And what did you learn from having to fulfill your corporate roles in those very diverse countries?
So our company is a very global company, but it was global almost since its creation. So we are very mindful, we act locally when it comes to food preference and culture. So there's always this mindfulness about culture that are very different, especially against food, because it's more than just, I would say, satiety. It's about culture, it's about ritual, it's about family bonding, it's about network. But what I've learned in my role precisely as a Nestlé executive is the importance of what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And when you work in different countries, you get to know the cultural aspect of things, the way society works, whether the way also people interact with food, because it's the business I'm into. You realize that there is many different aspects when it comes to the culture and diversity. And the cognitive pattern as well, which is linked to language and semantic, it's also completely different. So bringing everyone around the same table, working together in a diverse environment brings much more thinking capability, and that's the richness of diversity. Whereas when you're more into a traditional pattern, whatever pattern it is, there's more sort of collective way of thinking, which often is quite blind-spotted.
So what difference does it really make? I mean, is it just touchy-feely making everyone feel better, or does it really have an impact on the company's bottom line?
It does. Yeah. So it's not about touchy. Of course, people relationship, the soft wiring aspect of things is very important. So being mindful of the other one key difference is important. But it's more about business, obviously. When you look at society and the evolution, and just to name New Zealand, in which I operate today, you see society changing, and you see the face of New Zealand is changing, and there's much more diversity when it comes to culture, food habits, ethnicity, and so forth. So that is an opportunity for companies who operate in this marketplace to be mindful about that and to cater its product offering to this diverse population. Likewise, when we recruit people, to make sure our employees also are the reflection of the diversity of the country, because that's the only way you can resonate and be basically relevant in your offering. When we don't do that, where we tend to become gradually obsolete in our offering. And when it comes to people, also the attractivity to get the best talent into the job, if we are biased from that, I would say, cultural richness, then we tend maybe not to hire the best people because we are not looking at the possibility out there.
And so what are you doing at Nestlé at the moment to make sure that it's culturally competent and therefore competitive?
So we are certainly very mindful about that, first and foremost. We are mindful that the offering for food is changing in the New Zealand marketplace. So we are really looking at all possible channels to supply consumer. And of course that creates an awareness of product offering and also consumer target group. When it comes to our employee, our briefing for recruitment is very simple. We want the best people on board, irrespective of their diverse background. And if they have a diverse background, that's neither plus, neither minus, it's the society. And we want to make sure we are reflective of that.
So in terms of your own definition of a culturally capable leader, what is that?
I think in today's world, when we work for big corporate organization, or in a country like New Zealand that is extremely open to, I would say, exchange and has a lot of ambition when it comes to trade exchange precisely, we need to really be curious about what's out there. Curious, being non-judgmental as well, be open-minded when it comes to the different way of engaging with and dealing with people. So it's really having this sort of 360-degree of way of looking at people rather than my way is the way. And of course, for someone like me who's been working in many countries around the world, I'm always very cautious when I step into a culture in understanding how things operate there. At the same time, I'm also very mindful to connect pattern and see opportunity. So my previous posting was in Asia, where I was very, I would say, aware about the different diversity, because there's nothing so much common between people in Myanmar, in Cambodia, in Laos, in Thailand, in Vietnam. However, there's also a common pattern when it comes to food habits, rituals, and so forth. When I came to New Zealand, I was expecting to come to a very European type of country, but actually I discovered that there was a lot of Asian flair in New Zealand, going way far from Southeast Asia to India, Pakistan, and so forth, but also the Pacific flair, which I discovered as well. Again, very multicultural society. So I saw obviously the evidence of opportunity when it comes to business. But interestingly, when I was talking through that at the early stage of my assignment, some of my work environment were a bit more sort of on the old traditional Western patterns. So I had to bring the leadership team on board to see what they were blind spotted on. Today, the conversation is completely different. A couple of years down the road, where everyone is very diversity and inclusive minded when it comes to the employee, but also the consumers.
So what changed? What flipped these people over to see that actually diversity was important for the bottom line?
What changed is that you need to bring your people on board. You need to make them curious about what's going on out there. It's very down to earth. You need to visit all those different type of, for my business, supermarket, local, I would say, Asian offering, Middle Eastern offering, looking at the sort of product they bring into New Zealand and see is there any opportunity from a food company standpoint that we could be the supplier to those consumers. It's engaging with our consumer when they get in touch with us and ask for the right produce that is meeting their diet or meeting their cultural ritual. And it's for us to be curious overall when we will do a product design and be mindful about what we do in other countries around the world. Nestlé has a global presence. We have great produce in many countries to bring them down to New Zealand now.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.